Morning. Morning.
Morning, great, yeah. Thanks. We're just waiting for a few people to join in, a few people to join in. But we're just going to carry on. A few people did say they were going to join in this morning, but they were going to run late, which we understand. Um, great.
Sorry, is it disturbing you?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
let
And
me
I'm sure
just.
there's a lot of people. Yeah.
I'm gonna mute myself so it's clear. Yeah.
No, you don't need to mute yourself. It's just people talking in the background. Okay, let's carry on once it starts. Okay, am I clear? Can you hear me, Terry? You can hear me.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah. Morning, everybody. I'm just going to run us. This shouldn't be more than 10 to 15 minutes. If it runs beyond 15 minutes, it's probably because people are asking questions, and we will just try and answer as many questions as we can. We will have to send email to answer some questions later on. This meeting is going to be the first of a few meetings. I've lost the screen. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. The screen went off. The screen went off. I can't see the screen, sorry. What happened? Can you hear me?
Sorry, just bear with me. Sorry, I'm just
Okay.
sharing.
Okay, great, great. Thanks for bringing that back on. Now, we're just organizing this meeting to update a lot of our landlords and landlords today. Some of them are going to be our past landlords. Some of you guys online will be intending landlords. The purpose of the meeting is just to run you through and update you on what the council is hoping to do in the next few weeks. Well, probably, yeah, possibly next few weeks, starting from next month, in terms of bringing in the landlords and licensing scheme. Um, the the whole idea behind this is to make sure that a lot of the properties are up to date, and to make sure that all properties that are being rented out to tenants are being operated by landlords who are genuinely registered and can be tracked if there are any issues. Next screen, please. Today's briefing is split into 8 important topics. The first is the big picture, the reason behind why Chronic Council wants to bring this new scheme in. The second item are the two types of scheme that we're going to talk about. The third item on the agenda is the reason why you need a license. Number four, licensing condition. Number five, the cost and possible discount. The timeline is number six. The action plan is number seven, and the penalties is the last item on the agenda, which is number eight, which is penalties and risk. The next slide, please. Next slide, slide number three. Now, very quickly, just to run you through what the borough has. Croydon ran a wide selective licensing scheme from 2015 to 2020. We were thinking at the time that it was going to be an automatic renewal. You've gone back on screen. We were thinking that was going to be automatic renewal, but that wasn't the case. And since then, the council wasn't allowed to go back to the same scheme again to renew it. And what's happened since then is that the council has gone back to appeal, and they've now won the appeal. So in 2021, the Secretary of State refused to renew it. The council has since revealed its evidence base and showing the reason why they need to have a licensing operating scheme in place. So from 2025 to 2026, from October 25 to January 26, they ran a consultation, and the consultation has since been approved. Just to run you through a brief of numbers, 33% of Croydon homes are privately rented. amounting to 53,519 homes in hands of private landlords. The consultation scheme that ran between October and January this year received a response of 1142, and the scheme has been approved to run from 2026, from September 26 to September 2031. The main reason behind this scheme being operated is because a lot of properties they believe are in poor conditions. And on top of that, they are badly managed. There's antisocial behavior. The Croydon itself is trying to improve its image by making sure there are less properties with issues. They want to be a lot more proactive rather than reactive. They want to create a fairer situation, a clearer or fairer scenario where they feel that landlords are being treated fairly. Next screen, over to you, Terry.
Okay, thank you. Just a second.
Sorry, guys, I didn't introduce to you. Sorry, my name is Dayo. I'm the CEO of Top Investing Agency. Sorry, I got distracted a little bit at the beginning. And let's tell him we work together. Selim has been with us for a few years now. So between us and a few other members, we run the letting and management team. We've been running the estate agency since 2003. And we've got plans to keep growing. There's no plans to slow down, and hence one of the reasons why we're having these meetings today. So over to you, Terry.
Thank you, Dayo. So this is Terry, as Dayo introduced. So what is coming up now is two different licenses. It's selective license and additional HMO license. You almost know that there is an existing mandatory HMO license. And the difference between those two, the additional HMO license and mandatory license, is that there's a threshold. Additionally, existently, the mandatory HMO license, you have a threshold hold of 5 people living in the property. If there is more than 5 people living in the property, or 2 or more household living in the property, you need mandatory HMO license. But now what Croydon Council has introduced is an additional HMO license, which will be below the threshold of mandatory, which means if there are 2 or 4 people or any household below 2 households, or maybe just 2 households, then you will need an additional HMO license. If you have already a mandatory HMO license, you don't need to have an additional HMO license. And if you have a mandatory HMO license, you don't need to have a selective license. So it's just one that you need in order to let out your property. So the selective licensing applies to single household rented properties. Right now, it is applied to 14 designated wards only in Croydon. It applies to all the assured periodic tenancies, as you know that all the tenancies are now periodic, and single lets. The proposed fee, it's not confirmed yet, but it's anything between 800 and 840, and it will be paid in 2 parts. One you will pay when you apply, and the second part when you'll pay when you're about to get the license. And the implementation date is from 5th of September for both of the license, additional and selective license. And the additional HMO license applied on all of the Croydon. It's not on the selective areas as of selective licenses. Moving forward, which license applies to your property? In order to know that, as I mentioned, if your property is let to 5 or more occupants, which forms more than 2 households, you will need a mandatory HMO license. It is already enforced and it is borough-wide. And the additional HMO license, it will be for 3 or 4 occupants, which means forming 2 households. Then you will need additional HMO license. And selective license is applied to all single household let families, and it is only designated to 14 wards as of now. And if you have a property outside those 14 wards, and it's not an HMO, then you don't need any license currently. So these are 14 wards that is requiring selective license, which is Addiscombe East, Addiscombe West, Bentham Manor, Broad Green, Fairfield, Norbury and Pollards Hill, Norbury Park, Selhurst, South Croydon, South Norwood, Thornton Heath, Warden, West Thornton, and Woodside. The properties that are exempt from selective license is already the ones who have already HMO license, the one who are registered social landlord, the one that are under a management order, which is Croydon Council or any council management order that are already dealing with the letting of the property. So they are already involved. So the license is not required. Any temporary exempted granted by council under the exemption of Section 86, those properties, any statutorily exempt tenancies, and any house holiday lets like Airbnb that you're doing, you don't need a selective license for those properties. Off to you, Dio.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Karim. So, in order to prepare your minds for what are for the requirements, or before you should be looking to apply, or whilst planning to apply for the license, we need to have some documentation in place. And what we are doing is advising our landlords ahead of time to please organize these things. Is to please um, is to please organize themselves, or we can help you organize a lot of the certificates in place. So the certificate that you need to have in place, or the documents you need to have in place in order for you to apply for the licensing, are a valid gas certificate, electrical certificate. Now, by the way, gas certificate is done once every year. Electrical certificate varies usually between 3 to 5 years. Fire risk assessment. A lot of people do not know about fire risk assessment, but we do know that they need fire risk assessment, especially in HMOs. And we also then ask our landlord to please take it one step further, not just to organize the fire risk assessment for their HMOs. You should also organize it for your flats, for your houses, because you don't know what your tenant do not know. And it will give you peace of mind knowing that at least there's a bold sign somewhere within your property talking about fire risk assessment. You also, and every property, you also need to have a working smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Um, Property standard, your property needs to meet a specific standard. There should be no category one hazards. That's a different topic on its own. And category one hazard includes damp, mold, and then structural risk. There should be adequate space and amenities, especially in HMOs. There should be suitable number and type of occupants, or the maximum number of occupants in a particular property. I know sometimes landlords rent a one-bedroom flat to one person, and then the following day you turn up at the property and you find 4, 5, 6 people. Again, we know whilst I would say it's not whilst I would say you haven't committed any offense, but at least it's been brought to your attention, and those are and as long as your document shows that you rented it to either one person or a couple, and as long as you've got the documentation in place, if it goes to the council, or if the law comes into realizing what's happening in your property, excuse me, you've got the document to prove yourself right that you've only rented the place to either one or two persons. However, the tenant has gone up to put more people in there. So as long as you've got the right document in place, then at least you've got nothing to worry about. Management and paperwork. Your property, management and paperwork, this relates to the person who owns or who is licensed to manage the property. It could be your estate agent, it could be you yourself as a landlord managing the property. Are you registered with the right scheme? Are you on the right register list? So those are all the things that needs to be in place. You need to have a valid tenancy agreement in place. You also need to have written statement of terms and house occupation if it's an HMO. Tenancies must be protected, and there has to be proof that the tenancies are protected. Ongoing duties are report of changes in management to the council or to the ownership. That needs to be reported to the council. Corporate and proactive inspection needs to be carried out. The council are going to be doing that. And you as a landlord also need to carry on your own inspection. And licensing and everything must be displayed. Um, for instance, EPCs, gas certificates, electricity certificate, they must be given to the tenant, even though they're not displayed. But licensing to show that that property has been registered, those must be displayed around the property. Again, before the end of the next 5 years, if you happen to apply this year, before it expires, the council will then write to you again, or you should contact the council, because council does not always contact people, but you need to contact the council to let them know that you want to renew your tenancy. There will be no excuses if you don't have a tenancy in place. Over to you, Terry.
Sorry, just to correct, there was slip of tongue from you, Dio. The tenancies, it's the deposit, and that's very important that we are facing these days. The deposit has to be protected, and you should have a prescribed information with that when you are having all the paperwork in place. So make sure if you're holding a deposit, you protect it and you have a prescribed information in place. So to the next one.
Yeah.
So what are the costs related to the licensing? There are some available discounts when you're applying for it. For instance, it's for mandatory HMO license that's already existing. It's 285 per room. And again, you pay in two parts when you're applying and when you're about to get your license. Additional HMO, it's proposed 1250 to 1600, but it's not confirmed yet. It will be confirmed later on when they will issue closer to 25th of September, and we'll let you know when we have the confirmed amount. And again, for selective license, somewhere between 800 and 840, but it's still proposed. And if you're an accredited landlord, you will have a you'll have £100 off. And if you're applying for multi-dwelling property or multiple property application, then £100 off. And if you have an EPC rating that is of above B or above, then it's £50 off. And when you're compiling your budget for the license, and you will need few compliance documents. This is a rough estimate of what you will need and how much it will cost you. For gas safety certificates, it's somewhere between 80 and 160. It's once a year. Electric certificates recurs after 5 years, and it's between 150 and 300, depending upon all the remedial work that's required. The price can be increased accordingly. Then you will need a fire risk assessment. For fire risk assessment, you will have to be compliant. There should be emergency lighting in place, fire alarms in place in communal areas. There should be a door compliant to the fire risk assessment. So there are some list of things that you require for the fire risk assessment to pass. Then EPC somewhere in between 80 and 120. And for floor plans, the most important thing for floor plans is you need to mention the dimensions. The floor plan should mention the dimensions of the property, dimensions of the room, and the smoke alarm and the fire alarm should be clearly mentioned where it's present inside the property. And depending on if you are going with an agent or any professional who is doing the compliance survey with you, they can charge you for the application of admin or the inspection time. And then if there are remedial works required regarding dam, fire doors, alarm, etc., then the prices can be increased. But this is just a rough estimate that this is the numbers you're looking for when you're going to be compliant for the selective license. This is just a timeline of the consultation that happened between 2015 till now. I know between 2021, the Secretary of State refused to renew the consular bills based on the consular bills evidence basis. They stopped the license and they didn't renew it. But after that, a few consultations, and the council built some evidence that the properties are not being kept properly, it's not been compliant. So that's why in order to make the property compliant and on the basic standard of living standard, they are proposing these licenses. It's just for the compliances. And then currently we are near to July, after July, and near to 25th of September, when both schemes are going to be live and legally required from that day. It's not that you will get fined from 25th of September. It's just when it's going to be live, and then you will have a transitional period until January 2027. They haven't given us the exact date again. Till then, you will have time to apply for the selective license and get your compliance ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, off to you, Dio.
Okay, very quickly, we would just encourage our landlords to check which wards their property falls into. Again, we're happy to share those wards with you in order to know whether you fall into the whether your property falls into the area that requires a certificate. We encourage you to please audit your existing certificate, make sure that you're on top of everything, because what's going to happen come the 25th of September, everybody will be calling every gas engineer, every electrical engineer, if they could do one or two certificates for them, and it's going to be chaotic. It could be chaotic at the time. We don't know. We will ask you to please book your compliance survey early. Make sure that your properties are up to scratch. If there's any remedial works that needs doing before you do the application, please make sure you do that, because tenants are as well informed as the landlord. Because what will happen is you as a landlord will go and apply for the license on the basis that everything is okay. The tenants will have been asked at some point, or will be asked that, or will be informed that their property has just been licensed. Have they experienced anything to do with mold? Has anybody been in there to do electric certificate recently? If your tenant says no, they may start to investigate the validity of your certificate, and you don't want that to happen. And number 4 on the list, please review your paperwork again, review your tenancy agreement, make sure that your deposit is properly registered, you've got all the paperwork. Again, back to the condition of the property, make sure that there's no damp at the time of your application, make sure that there's no mold, make sure that there's no alarm like carbon monoxide, fire alarm missing in the property. If there's any outstanding remedial works, please make sure you do them. And lastly, please register for updates with the council. With the council website, you can register with them for updates and any other thing. Next slide. Okay. Again, July, before you make the application, again, we'll encourage you to please, and before 4th of September 2026, we ask you to please watch the council's confirmation for us for the application start date. They will send out a portal to everybody. Gather all your supporting documents into one file if you can. Confirm the final fee. Again, and Telim has mentioned a few fees, but the figure is going to be bouncing around those figures. Remember that 25th of September is when the portal will become live. If you're doing it yourself, make sure you've got your certificates, everything ready. If an agent or estate agency, or you've got somebody doing all those for you, make sure that they are well informed. Make sure that you supply them with all the certificates. Make sure that your property is fit and proper. Any outstanding issue, you need to resolve them before the 25th, before you apply. Because if you apply on the 25th that you haven't got any mold in your property and there's mold, there's damp, then that means you force it. That means that license is falsified. It's falsified. You could lose your application fee until those remedial works have been ratified. Would you then be able to apply again? So just be careful what you put on the application form. Please, 2027, the credit, well, from the meetings that we've had, the crossings are going to be very hard on people who do not comply, who are running behind time. I know that from 25th of September until a specific date of the year, that's when the window is open. But at least we know that it's open by the 25th of September, which is only next month. We encourage all our landlords and property owners to please be very, very proactive about this and keep your certificate because it's valid for 5 years. Next screen. I think you're next one, Terry.
Yeah, now I will be very quick because we are running out of time. So,
Yes.
if we miss anything, I will be sharing this recording and the slides with you, and there will be another meeting next week. I will send the invite for that, and then if you have any question before then, you can send me an email and we'll answer. And during the meeting next week, you can ask as well. So according to the meetings we had with council so far, these are some of the application document checklists that we have gathered. But again, this is not final yet because they haven't told exactly what you will require. But based on the other boroughs that are already where selective license is mandatory, I have gathered some information that you will require gas safety, electric certificates, fire risk assessment for the communal areas, if especially for HMOs, EPCs, floor plans with the room measurements, and also the smoke alarm and fire alarms, your building insurance certificate, the proof of ID for the license holder, proof of ownership or management or authorization, tenancy agreements you will need in place, and deposit certificates, especially the deposit protection scheme confirmation, prescribed information. So these are some of the documents that are required. Maybe depending upon your area, you might not require one or two, but it's when the application will open and when they will issue the instructions, we will let you know exactly what you will require. But this is just the general idea that you are looking for these documents. Um, because the cost of getting things wrong could be worse. There will be a £40,000 penalty maximum for the offense of not having a license, and fine of prosecution, and then amount 12 months rent can be reclaimed by the tenants if you don't have any license in place. So they won't start straight away from 25th of September. You will have some transitional period, so you still have time. Make sure you're compliant and make sure you apply it before time. So the takeaway from this is check your ward and household count and the license types that you would need. Check the certificates that you will require. You can book a survey or any remedial work you will require before September. And then expected application open before 1st of September, but the last meeting I had with Croydon Council, they're looking for 25th of September. So, but they are still saying the application might be starting from the 1st of September. Again, when we'll have the further information, we will inform you. So that's all from me, and I believe, Dio, do you have anything to say?
No, I've not got anything to say other than to thank everybody for joining us this morning. As I said, my name is Dio and you are Terry. We work together. We in Top of Estate Agency. We've been a local estate agency for about 23 to 24 years, and we're still going very, very strong. Going back to today's meeting, we want to, I know we're limited in time. We just wanted to see whether there's any questions or any concerns that people who have joined us have this morning. And if we can't answer you straight away, I'm sure we will be able to send you answer you by email. So anybody who's got any questions that they wanted to ask.
Hi, I wanted to know, if the property is managed by you, would you be providing like most of those documents that you mentioned?
If we manage the properties, yeah, automatically we should be providing you with the documents. There are certain documents that we will then obviously need to arrange that are not mandatory presently. For instance, your gas, electricity certificate, your deposit certificate, all of that, obviously those are in place, they're in hand. But for instance, moving forward, for you to apply for the licensing, you will need a fire risk assessment. Those are the things that we can, obviously it comes at a cost, but yes, we can provide them for you. The floor plan, the fire risk assessment, and any other thing that is required, yes, we can provide them for you. That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Sorry, I've just got one question.
Yeah.
It was just about the FRA assessment requirement, not for the selective licensing. I wasn't aware of. I knew there would be something around the HMOs, but I wasn't aware for the normal sort of single dwellings.
Yeah, as my colleague mentioned earlier on, I don't know whether we mentioned that before the meeting or during this meeting. For the FRA, it's compulsory or advisable to have them for HMO, but for single dwellings, it's not compulsory.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's been bounced around that it's if you can have it, then please do have it. Am I correct, Erin?
Yeah, yeah.
Good, good. Thank you. Just I wanted to understand.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Can I say something? I just wanted to thank you very much for, endeavoring to keep us appraised of all these changes, because to be honest, when you get onto the council website, it is just very confusing what applies to who. And so I wanted to commend you for that. But also to say, hopefully that, because we all have different properties, and whether we would get a bit of an indication of what applies to us. Do you see what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's just not easy at all to work out. I don't know whether they do it deliberately or something, but it's not something that you can easily work out, based on what you need to have. So we would really appreciate that. But you've done really, really well, and I just wanted to commend you for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Terim, anything else from you?
Nothing for me. That's all. But obviously, if anybody has any questions, I am always available. So you can send me an email and I will reply and I will answer all the questions you might have.
Okay, thank you so much. And as Terim said earlier on, we will hold the same meeting next week. We haven't announced what time. It might be one day next week, but late in the day where more people can attend. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.